Hello, I'm Gemma and this is Non-Fic Books, and as you can tell I'm getting a bit Christmassy, so I thought I would do a sort of last minute guide for some non-fiction books for people in your life, because I bet there's still quite a few of you who haven't done all of your Christmas shopping yet. And it's just always amazing to get books. I think their books make one of the most awesome presents, and if you're watching this you're probably quite a fan of books too. So these are all non-fiction books apart from one little fiction book at the end. And this first one is J.K. Rowling's Very Good Lives. And this is all about failure and the importance of imagination. It's a speech that she gave which has been typed up with these funky illustrations. It'll take you only 10 minutes to read, if that. But it is beautiful, and either for any Harry Potter fans or for anyone who is between the ages of 18 or 22, sort of that stage where you're finishing formal education and starting to try and find your way as an adult in the world, this is a really nice gift. So I would think that it's absolutely perfect for any student, siblings or friends that you have, and it is a really, really sweet gift. The next one is more for maybe mums or grandparents, anyone who's really into gardening, and that is Chapman's Women in My Rose Garden. This is one of the most beautiful books I own. It is actually squidgy, the cover's soft, which makes it even more tactile and delightful, but this is all about women who have had roses named after them, and it is absolutely stunningly illustrated as well. It's broken up, I think it's about 50 different chapters, well, 50 different pages or so about different women who've all had roses named after them, and you have an illustration of the woman, some text about both the woman and the rose itself, and then a photograph of the rose, because Anne Chapman is a specialist in older roses and she grows them all in her garden, either in Australia or New Zealand, can't quite remember off the top of my head. It is a beautiful book, and I think it would be a really wonderful gift for someone who's really, really interested in gardening, or, as I said, mums or grandmas. I think this is a lovely gift for. The next one is for any Agatha Christie fans or David Suchet fans, and that is David Suchet's Poirot and Me, which is a memoir about the time that he was filming Poirot, and that's all it's about, and it's wonderful because he runs through the individual episodes, things that happen, people he met, and there are some fantastic photographs, some that he took as well because he's really into photography, and I think this would make a really lovely gift for anyone who is a big Agatha Christie fan or Golden Age crime fan as well. The next one is for maybe the scientific man in your life. Certainly my husband absolutely loved this book when I first brought it home. Richard Feynman is one of the most famous physicists that there has been, really. Absolutely leading light in quantum physics, and Don't You Have Time to Think is a collection of his letters throughout his life. It is a real chunker of a book and it's absolutely fascinating. For lighter books, he's done a few sort of easy introductions to quantum physics that are only about 150 pages or something, that are slightly lighter gifts that you could either do as a gift separately or with this. That would make a pretty spectacular gift for anyone who's quite sciencey, and it's fantastic. Richard Feynman, if you're not interested in the book but he sounds quite interesting, YouTube him or Google him, because there are interviews with him on YouTube that are just spectacular. He's so entertaining, as well as just this crazy mind, which is seriously impressive, and this is a great gift for someone of the more scientific bent who are a little bit more difficult to buy for, I find sometimes. The next one is again probably for the more scientific minded, and it's the ironically named The Portable Atheist by Christopher Hitchens, which is absolutely massive. This is fantastic, it's so interesting. It is collections of writings from people over the last few centuries who describe themselves either as agnostic or atheists, and it is seriously fascinating. Probably not a gift for the most religious minded people, unless they're very open-minded and interested in hearing what atheists think, but if you are of the more atheistical bent, then this is a fantastic book. It's so interesting to see people's different beliefs throughout a larger time period, and don't be put off by the fact that it's by Christopher Hitchens, because this is not one of his very aggressively atheist books or anything like that. It's more a collection that he's put together of other people's writings rather than his own. And there are just some really beautiful pieces of writing in here that, if you're interested in the English language as well, it's quite interesting, because obviously over 200 years writing his styles and language has changed, and there's a good collection of pieces throughout time there, so that's quite fascinating in itself. But that's a great book, and again would make a lovely gift for all the Janeites out there. This is just absolutely amazing. I couldn't resist when I first saw this book, and that's Margaret Sullivan's Jane Austen cover to cover, and it is Jane Austen book covers. You get photographs of the book covers throughout the time periods with writing about them, and it is just absolutely wonderful. If you're a Janeite, maybe a little Christmas present for yourself, maybe. It certainly, well, it wasn't even a Christmas present to myself, I just bought it because it was beautiful. But this would make a perfect gift for any Janeite you know, because, well, it's just so beautiful. And I think it would be a real highlight of any Austen collection. So that is an absolutely beautiful book. My next one is my final one, and it's the fiction book that I mentioned at the beginning. And it is the particular edition that I want to talk about, because it's a very well-known classic, and it's Dickens' A Christmas Carol, illustrated by Quentin Blake, which I just think is a match made in heaven. Admittedly, I had never read A Christmas Carol until this year. I'm almost 30. How? How is it possible I've not read The Christmas Carol? I actually don't understand how I've got to this stage without having read it, but I've rectified it this year with this beautiful edition. And the illustrations are just absolutely fabulous. He goes through, there's smaller ones throughout the text, but then at chapter breaks there are great big beautiful illustrations that are whole page ones, and I just have to see if I can find you my favourite one, because some of them are really rather dramatic and in black and white, while others are really colourful. But it is just a fabulously beautiful book, and obviously a very classic tale. Oh, here we go, eventually. There we go. Isn't that just really dramatic and wonderful? I love Quentin Blake. I grew up with the Quentin Blake illustrated editions of the Roald Dahl stories, which are just fabulous, and this to me made a really special edition and would make a wonderful Christmas present for anyone from children through to adults, older people, anyone who loves Dickens, or anyone who, like me, grew up with Quentin Blake's illustrations as a big part of their childhood, because it is really beautiful, and I must admit it encouraged me to read a book that I really meant to for quite a long time. So it was a great edition and absolutely beautiful. So those are my sort of Christmas suggestions. They're not new books, so you should be able to find them quite easily. None of them are really, really old, and you should be able to find them on the internet very easily, and a lot of decent sized bookstores will probably have most, if not all, of these. So there we are. Have you bought any books for presents this year? I have. I bought my husband Norwegian Wood and my mum Brooklyn, because... Oh, and my dad. I got him The House of Silk by Anthony Horowitz, because he's not read that yet, and we're big Anthony Horowitz fans in this family, as well as Sherlock Holmes fans. But apart from that, I don't think I've bought any other books this year, which is surprising. Normally I buy a few more books than that, but I haven't finished all of my shopping, so books may become the additional bits that are topping up other people's presents. If you've bought any books this year for presents, let me know what you've bought, and not necessarily who, because you obviously don't want people to find out beforehand, but what sort of person you've bought the book for, because I think that's always really interesting. And if you've got any comments or questions, leave them down below, and I will hopefully see you in a video before Christmas, but if not, Merry Christmas everyone. Bye!